cure. Oh, I was just going to throw through that cure means that the symptoms are gone.
Perhaps, yes.
Healing is very clear, at least.
Very possibly, yes.
Maybe it would be, healing would be a process?
Yes. Healing definitely is a process, yes. Anybody else? Yes?
You can be healed, but you don't have to be cured.
That's exactly right. Sometimes they go hand in hand, and sometimes they don't. Anybody else have any insights?
Well, even some physical illnesses are treatable, but not curable. And
Yes.
healing, I suppose, is in the same category as treating.
Yeah. In a way. Yeah.
Which is the same with North American medicine. We tend to look at you either have to have 0 symptoms to be considered cured. Anything else is just not worth it. Whereas with healing, you may still have symptoms, but if your health is better on many levels, that's still positive. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maureen?
I sometimes think it's a bit of a different, like I, in my own mind, sometimes think of it as a physical or spiritual difference. So sometimes spiritually you can be healed and pass on, so therefore not be cured. It sometimes can go hand in hand, but not always. I think sometimes if we detach from our maybe idea of what the end result needs to be in terms of perfect physical health.
Could you all hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Maureen has identified the difference. Cure has to do with the physicalness of you. When you are symptom-free, you are said to be cured. Your body is cured. The disease, that particular dis-ease, is gone. And sometimes that can happen through surgery. Maybe the surgeons remove the diseased organ or what a tissue, whatever it was, and then you can be considered cured. But to be healed means something different. To be healed means that you understand why you had the dis-ease. If you break that the two syllables of that word apart, dis-ease means to be out of ease. It's very appropriate because an illness being called a dis-ease means that there is something out of balance in your body. Some issue has been ongoing and unaddressed, at least not addressed effectively. Sometimes we don't look at disease in the body as having a mental or a spiritual component, but in my opinion, they always do. Always do. And you can say, well, the pollution in the air or something else has created my disease. Well, some part of you is responsible for that. And it's not about laying blame on anyone or including yourself, but if you don't take responsibility for your own health, for your own well-being, rest assured no one else is going to either, at least not to a degree that's going to be very effective for you. So, it's about accepting responsibility, but a cure, for the most part, has to do with the physicalness of you, and the healing part comes when you understand why you have the dis-ease and how that disease has enhanced your life, regardless of what the disease is or was. And someone mentioned a minute or two ago that you can die of a dis-ease and still have been healed prior to your death. Healing does not always prevent death from a disease. But if you understand and accept and embrace your disease before your death, then you have been healed. Because I believe every disease, every illness, every accident, anything like that happens for specific reasons. They always have a positive message to deliver to you. It might take some soul searching, it might take some investigation to find it. It might not be very obvious, but there will always be a spiritual or a non-physical component to your disease that you need to address. So the surgeon can take out that diseased colon and remove the tumors, and you can have chemotherapy and radiation and be cured. But if you haven't healed, that disease will either come back again in a similar place, or it'll come out again somewhere else. The physicalness of your being is the final phase of a dis-ease. The dis-ease starts with your mental, emotional, spiritual side and manifests in the body if it's not addressed at the other three levels. Done.
I think something in North America we fail to recognize is that disease and death are part of a continuum. And the first step of that might be some small inflammation. And it's just a matter of where you decide to pay attention, really, in that line. And it goes from there to something that has an itis, arthritis, there's colitis, whatever, there's 27,000 of them. And then, you get to really critical stuff where they start taking chunks out of you. And so where are you going to decide to pay attention? And we forget to marry together, we think it's separate, the physicalness and the spiritual side of it, but it's all the same. It's not separate. We cannot separate it.
Our Western medicine is learning now to embrace that. And metaphysical healers for centuries have known it and understood that connection, but our Western medicine, our Western doctors are just in the last few years beginning to embrace that concept. So yes, that's very true.